Alright guys, since I was asked to kind of show the Fractal FX8, I figured I'd do a short video, but it's not going to be short. Uh, Kind of explaining what it does and show you what I've done with a single patch as opposed to just showing you a bunch of, crazy presets, which, you should check out, but this is from a practical working kind of guitar player's perspective. So each patch is essentially like a pedal board with 8 blocks on it with 8 stompers corresponding to them. So you can use it in what they call stomp box mode, where you tap what if you want distortion, you click the stomper that turns on the distortion or off, and you've got it, etc. Or you can use it in what they call scene mode, where it's like a switching system where you determine which of the 8 blocks you want in at any one given time and assign it to each stomper. So that's really convenient because you can switch multiple effects without tap dancing. And it's as if you're on a single pedal board, which I really like. And the other feature is called XY, which allows you to store 2 different instances of a certain block on one space. I'll explain what that means. Like, say with my distortion on this patch, I have a full drive 2, full tone, full drive 2 pedal emulation on. Now, if I hold the stomper down, it'll change from X to the Y parameter. Now, for the Y parameter, I can either keep that full drive 2 and change a bunch of stuff, change the drive, change the level, change the EQ, clipping mode, whatever, anything you want to. Or you could choose a completely different dirt pedal. Anything that's in the drive family can be selected. So it could be a rat pedal, which is what I have here, or it could be a Sir Riot or a Metal Zone or whatever. Any one of the pedal emulations they have, which are all pretty awesome. Um, but anyway, so that's what that does. So now I'll just run through some of these sounds so you can hear what they're supposed to sound like, I guess. And I'm playing this Squier Classic Vibes tele, completely stock. Same, regular pickups, nothing fancy at all, into a Quilter Micropro 200. And so this is the clean tone that I have, which has compression and some verb on it. It sounds great. I mean, it really sounds like the amp. Here's true bypass, by the way. This is true bypass. Okay, and this is with the effect in. So you see, it's not really messing with the natural tone of the guitar or the amp at all. Obviously, not in this incarnation yet, and I don't think that it really does at all. But you'll see. So for scene 2, I actually programmed an envelope filter, and the programming on this can be a little bit arduous if you don't know what you're doing. But having said that, you can get some amazing things to happen that you can't get with regular pieces of gear. So with this filter, I programmed this on a guitar with humbuckers, so I'm going to have to smack it a little hard to get it to open up fully or close to fully, but we'll see. So it's a really nice usable envelope filter, which I really dig. And again, it still has the same compression and reverb from the first patch. So it's as if I just turned on one pedal for that. Now, if I go to scene 3, it's as if I turned off that pedal and turned on a rotary speaker. So I get like a Leslie's vibe. But it would sound even cooler with the wah on, so I can just engage the wah at any time by just touching it. That's pretty brutal, man. That's a really nice Leslie. And I literally just turned it on. I didn't do any tweaking to the Leslie. Now the sound in scene 4, I again I just clicked one button and it really varies what's happening now. Like I turned on a bigger reverb. I changed the reverb to like a bigger kind of either a large hall or a cathedral. I don't remember what it is. And then I added like these long delays, which sound like. Wait, let me make sure I'm on the right patch here. Yeah. So I use it for swells like this. Here's a treble pickup. Very like ominous Holdsworth. Now I'd like to mention that there's no chorusing or anything on that. That's just all modulation from the delay. I believe it's a 2290 with modulation. So it's a very kind of if I just hit it, you know. Oh, excuse me. Turn the volume back up. If I just hit it, you hear it's very pristine. There's not a lot of like signal degradation, like 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 analog or tape delays, which you can obviously get on here, a lot of like wow and flutter and stuff like that. Then scene number 5 is basically like the initial clean sound that we were using, but just with the bigger verb. So this is the verb itself, what it sounds like. See, it's a lot bigger space. It's not, I'm not going crazy, but it's still a lot more. It's a nice sounding verb. Whatever. It has a nice depth to it that I really dig. But enough with that. Here's the last 3 scenes, which is what people mostly ask about when you're asking about modeling stuff. How are the distortions? Like, and for me, like with a product like say a Line 6 product, and I'm sorry Line 6 to say this, but the first Line 6 pod, the 2.0, was actually a really amazing dynamic machine. Like you could really get some nice dynamics from picking and from volume changes without it sounding tinny or weird or fizzy or anything like that. And once that XT came out and through now, I mean, I don't know that the Helix is much better. You can't really get a good dynamic drive tone. Like if you're playing metal, have at it, get a Line 6 and that's fine. Like the metal sounds are pretty legit because it's just saturated. You're not dealing with a lot of subtlety. But with this, so like I have a full drive 2 program on this with just a little bit of verb, the same verb from the initial preset, or scene rather. And this is like kind of a dirty rhythm tone. Pretty legit. Whatever, I mean, it's like that's more dynamic when I roll the volume down. So like here's the volume pretty extremely down. A little further up. Pardon all the clams, by the way, guys. I don't really, you know, I'm not exactly in the best shape today. But volume full on the tele. So it's got a really huge dynamic range, and you can also program like the drive level on this to be way more than a full drive would be, or less, or you know, like change the all kinds of things about the gain structure, harmonics, etc. So scene number 7 is that exact same sound with a bigger verb and like sort of like a dotted eighth note delay, but low in the mix just for soloing. So. You know, I mean, again, don't judge it by my playing right now. Judge it by like the sound that you're hearing coming through, which I don't know how good of a representation it is, but it's pretty. It sounds fucking great here, and really, I'm struggling with the transparency of this thing because the gear that I've played through for the past few years is just had so much sort of signals like tone suck and like like extra compression that it made things feel real different. And now I'm just getting reacclimated to playing with the way this feels, which is actually great. I mean, it's very dynamic. And then, by the way, just the last preset on this is the exact same thing we just heard, but instead of the full drive, I've substituted it for a rat pedal for a little bit more distortion. So I mean that's that, and of course you can turn the wah on all of these. So like say this one with the wah pedal. Whatever, I was a little dumb and wanky, but wanky doodle. Anyway, that's that patch, and I'm going to show you guys one more thing, which is another patch that I kind of started messing with, and this I programmed a filter that's controlled by the foot pedal as opposed to being an envelope filter. So very different sound than a wah pedal. Kind of has this kind of vintage 80s, 70s, 80s synth. And with distortion, it's just disgusting. All that ravey kind of tap stuff. synthy stuff with. Chorus into this as well, which is total 80s. So that's really, you know, authentic. I don't really use a lot of chorus, but I mean, it is really authentic. And then I also have I programmed this whammy pedal that when it's heeled back is slightly detuned. So you get this kind of unsettling kind of Schofield sound. And when you push it all the way up, it's an octave up. So, but it actually has the original signal in as well. It's like a 50-50 mix. So you can go. That's kind of like a little bit on the tamer side. Then you can also just do weird noises like I would listen to that for like 6 hours. Or like go, you know, let me see here. Say so you can just do that. Probably sound cooler without this huge reverb on it. Anyway, that sounds pretty sweet. And then here's the delay I have on this one is pretty out. And that with the chorus is just dreamy. It's oh so dreamy. Whatever. Anyway, that's a pretty good exposition, I think, to what this thing can do. Again, sorry for the mess. Sorry for not feeling well. Sorry for like not playing awesome or anything. But I think that at least it gives you a good idea what the sonic capabilities are with this thing. And imagine what I just showed you and multiply that by like 1 trillion, and that's pretty much what you're.